主らのような荒武者を見ておると、お父上が落胆することは決してないものと確信する。かくも立派な軍勢を率いるなど、天のおぼし飯に他ならぬ。敵にとってはここが正念場。しくじれば歴史にも残らん。いつの日か歌人が悲しい歌にして読んでくれることじゃろう。我が敵は奴らの領主と一門に忠誠を誓う勇敢な侍どもだ。あの者どもを滅ぼすとなると心が痛むが、これも運命のなせる技。仕方なかろう。陣容を見渡せば人の良さそうな誠実な農民の顔がたくさん見える。侍ではないお主らだが、死なば武士として葬ってやろうぞ。天に叫んで敵を真から震え上がらせろ。誠の脅威を見せてやるのじゃ。
Welcome back to Total War Shogun 2 Let's Play. Currently, we are extracting revenge for the treacherous Sasaki assault upon Kyoto. We're now attacking Omi, the Sasaki's home capital, with Tomomori and a force of all of the Kyoto garrison that were left alive at the end of it, plus a few reinforcements I was able to muster. This is a fairly even fight. We're versing 3 enemy Naginata regiments and 2 bow regiments, while we have 3 Naginata regiments and 3 bow regiments. We also have to remember that Tomomori gives a quite substantial boost to the accuracy of all bow units underneath his command, and as such they have 25 accuracy to the enemy's 15. This is going to be instrumental in the upcoming fight. Now, as you can see, they're surrounded by water and the easiest way is to ford it. Unfortunately, that's a very steep hill to be assaulting up when you consider that we don't actually have a particularly substantial advantage. And as such, I'm not really interested in taking this one on head first. More reasonable approach is to cross the river, approach into this area here, and advance up the much gentler slope. This will give us an opportunity to use our bows for skirmishing, as well as to helpfully eliminate the advantage that the enemy would have in the event they countercharge down the hill. While we're getting into position, I will just speed things up for everyone. One of the interesting things I've always found is that... Sorry about that, slight video problem. One of the things that I've always found interesting is that the computer will always sit on the defensive position for the towns, even though there's not really a particularly good reason to do so. It makes perfect sense from a, if you get a unit into the capture zone for a minute, you will win sort of scenarios, and the AI was obviously built with Shogun 2 in mind, where even the most base castle had walls. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to work quite so well when they have towns, as they have a very defensive mindset. Really, in this particular scenario, the computer would want to have been aggressive in order to maximize on the fact that we have a fairly even spread in the melee department, but I have superior range troops. We move our troops up in order to skirmish. Basically, the objective is to draw the computer into thinking that it has a fair chance in the skirmish fight, and so not committing its melee troops. If we go too hard too early, or we start being too aggressive towards the melee troops, the computer will instead attack with them, knowing that it would be shot to shreds. This would be problematic for us because our primary advantage, and really the only way I'm going to take this town, is if we manage to do good things with our arrows. Now, as you can see, we're doing not particularly well, actually. We've taken out all of about 6 of them, and in exchange they've taken out 4, so it's a fairly even fight considering there's 2 of our units. But we're making up for it, and hopefully should be reducing that down to a more manageable number shortly. This particular unit on the left flank has a fairly bad firing angle, as you can see, and so while they do get some shots off, I'm not expecting it to be particularly effective. If I move them too much further forward, however, the computer will decide to counterattack with their levy, and that would be unfortunate. As you can see, their ranged units are wavering already, and hopefully another good couple of volleys will finish this and they will retreat. This will pretty much cement our range dominance, which is handy. And there they go. They're broken. Now, they're not shattered, which means that they could still rally because they're not particularly... Oh, there they go. They're shattered now, and they're definitely not coming back. Usually this will provoke some sort of a response from the computer. They'll either engage in melee, since they now believe that they're not going to win the skirmish fight, or they deploy additional ranged units for that purpose. Not seeming to do too much, however, so we'll move our forces forward and see if we can't get some free pot shots. After all, we need to maximize the advantage that we have. If all our bow levy do is counter their bow levy, we haven't really helped take advantage of our strengths. So, best course of action is to soften up their levy. Their levy are all full-size garrisons, while most of our levy are weakened from the constant fighting that we've been undertaking. This means that it's going to take more punch to rout their units than it is to rout ours. So we're going to have to rely on the fact that we can split the units for flanking purposes, and also for multiple charges. The first wave releases and kills quite a few men, actually. They're doing good damage, and that's pretty much what we're going to need to see. Now the computer's skirmishing with our bow levy on the left here, and it still thinks it's in with a pretty good chance for skirmishing. This will change as the number of units drop, but really right now I'm playing at the maximum computer exploitation capability because I've got a pretty good handle on what is and isn't going to set the computer off into attacking me. It's something that comes with a lot of experience, and it's a bit of a play-it-by-ear thing. Normally, if it was a person defending this, they would have counterattacked with everything they had because they'd know they were going to lose the range battle. But even then, there'd be a good chance they would lose from that. So we're looking in pretty good condition. 2 or 3 more volleys into this levy garrison, and they won't have the numbers to defend even if I do flat-out charge. My primary concern is that if I lose too many troops, I won't be able to hold Omi or Kyoto. Playing to win here, but I really, really hate it when the computer stabs me. I take it personal. I'm not entirely sure why. It's a computer, there's nothing personal in it. But there you go. I'm going to make an example out of it, and if that means slaughtering every one of these bastards, I will. Well, it's worked out that it's not going to have too much of a chance if it keeps taking punishment like it is, but it's not going to have too much of a chance anyway. The levy will catch it in a countercharge, and that's the levy garrison done. They should shatter, hopefully, and that would be the end of that. Let's finally provoke some action from the computer. They're bringing up their general in order to perform some aggressive sniping on my troops. Generals are actually very, very effective at dueling levy. The main reasons for this are levy are not particularly accurate. Even though the generals are a large target, they do also have quite high armor, and levy have a fairly weak bow, which means they're unlikely to penetrate, even if they do hit. Now we've inspired our bow levy here, and as you can see, the reload skill is now 30 and 40 relative to the 20 and 25 of his associated ally. This is good. More shots on target and more shots faster mean that hopefully we should be able to drop that general fairly quickly. Ooh, we did not like that particular one at all. Let's see if I can catch him catching some arrows. No, that'd be right. I'd zoom in for the one where it doesn't matter. Now, I'm really not entirely sure what it's doing. The AI has some real trouble when it doesn't have a battle plan, basically. It's trying to defend castle walls that aren't really there. You can see the walls that it basically is trying to hold along here, but they're useless walls. I know they're useless walls, you know they're useless walls. The computer treats them as useful walls, and while that works fine for the vast majority of the game, at the start, if you know that this is how the computer will behave, you can really take advantage of it.
My lord,
Their general just bit the dust, and I'm going to say that's likely to be the end of it.
My lord,
There they go, they shatter, and now it's just getting men anywhere near. Don't even have to get them near. It's all over, and Omi is ours. Tomomori has had his revenge.